Hey, when is the last time you spent just a few moments wondering, amazed, marveling, standing in awe of the goodness of God? I'm Pastor Cary, and this is Thanksgiving week. And so the next 3 days, we're going to spend time wondering together, just dropping our jaws wide-eyed with wonder and delight at God's goodness. Welcome back to Growing in the Gospel. And join me in Psalm 145. Now, we've been on this journey for nearly 5 years, going through the Psalms together, and we are coming to our last 11 Psalms. Now, I know there's 150 Psalms. We're at 145, but we've skipped some along the way, partially because I had taught those in other settings, and I was trying to teach the whole Bible. Well, anyway, we're going to go back and catch up. So we have six, including today, we have 6 left in the numbered sequence, but we have about 5 others that I'm going to go back and cover, and then we will have covered the entire book of Psalms. But today is a new psalm for us, Psalm 145, and it's a psalm of wonder. It's a psalm of praise and celebration. It's the last in a series of psalms that are attributed to David, and it's all about wonder. It's a mountaintop of praise and celebration. It is, as one commentator put it, it's a fit summary of all that David had learned about God during a long lifetime of following hard after the Almighty, the heart of God. David was always a man after God's heart. I hope you are too. And I take that not only to be shaped after God's heart, but a man pursuing, a man seeking the heart of God and asking God to be the theme, the dominant theme of his life. So our tradition is that we read the entire psalm together when we are starting a new psalm. And then we're going to talk for a few minutes today about what is wonder and why do we need it? And I have some important thoughts to share with you, so I hope you'll stick with me through the next few moments. But let's read together Psalm 145 and verse 1. And as I record this video, for me, it is Wednesday, and it is the day before Thanksgiving. And I have a lot of stuff to do today to get ready for tomorrow. But our family's coming over and some friends, and we are looking forward to thanking God. And together right now, for me, this is sort of my quiet time with you, and for you, I hope it's the same, whatever you're doing. Maybe you're walking or jogging or riding a bike or driving a car, or maybe you're just sitting quietly. Whatever the story, I hope that you will open your heart and wonder and be grateful for these next few moments. And let's celebrate with David the goodness and the majesty and the beauty of God. Psalm 145 and verse 1, and this psalm is 21 verses, and here it is. I will extol thee, my God, O King. I will bless thy name forever and ever. Every day I will bless thee, and I will praise thy name forever and ever. Great is the Lord, and greatly to be praised, and his greatness is unsearchable. One generation shall praise thy works to another, and shall declare thy mighty acts. I will speak of the glorious honor of thy majesty and of thy wondrous works. And men shall speak of the might of thy terrible acts, and I will declare thy greatness. They shall abundantly utter the memory of thy great goodness, and shall sing of thy righteousness. The Lord is gracious and full of compassion, slow to anger, and of great mercy. The Lord is good to all, and his tender mercies are over all his works. All thy works shall praise thee, O Lord, and thy saints shall bless thee. They shall speak of the glory of thy kingdom and talk of thy power, to make known to the sons of men his mighty acts and the glorious majesty of his kingdom. Thy kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and thy dominion endureth throughout all generations. The Lord upholdeth all that fall, and raiseth up all those that be bowed down. The eyes of all wait upon thee, and thou givest them their meat in due season. Thou openest thine hand, and satisfiest the desire of every living thing. The Lord is righteous in all his ways, and holy in all his works. The Lord is nigh unto all them that call upon him, to all that call upon him in truth. he will fulfill the desire of them that fear him. He also will hear their cry and will save them. The Lord preserveth all them that love him, but all the wicked will he destroy. My mouth shall speak the praise of the Lord, and let all flesh bless his holy name forever and ever. What a great psalm. And throughout this psalm, the gospel of Jesus is laced in there, isn't it? God delivers. God is nigh to those that call upon him. Over and over, we see arrows that point to the idea that God is our salvation and not we ourselves. But this is a season of year, the end of the year, Thanksgiving into Christmas and the new year, that puts us into a different place, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, psychologically. Maybe it's a sad time of year. I hope that for you, it won't turn you inward, but that it will turn you upward, okay? That's what our celebrations are designed to do. That's what worship and praise is designed to do. It would be easy to turn inward and to lick your wounds, but don't do that. That's a waste of time, and it's really a waste of the joy that you could be receiving when you turn outward and upward with wonder. I want you to think about the Bible characters just in a short accounting, and most of them at some point wondered. But Isaiah wondered about God's holiness against the tragedy of his own sin. Woe is me. Zechariah wondered, and Elizabeth, the parents of John the Baptist, Zechariah was thrown speechless when he experienced the angel, and Elizabeth wondered. God has removed my reproach, she said. Mary wondered, the Virgin Mary, be it unto me. My soul does magnify the Lord, she said, after hearing the news that she would be the mother of the Messiah. The father of Jesus, the stepfather of Jesus, earthly father, Joseph, wondered. He was told by the angel, fear not. The shepherds that saw the angels on the hillsides, they wondered. Good tidings of great joy, the declaration was made. The wise men certainly wondered when they came to worship Jesus and brought gifts of worship. Simeon, mine eyes have seen thy salvation. The prophetess Anna, 84 years old in the temple, rejoicing at the arrival of Jesus. So many around not only the Christmas story, but the biblical narrative, they all experienced and received an assignment that brought them into proximity with the wonder of God. They were, you could say it this way, they were wowed into a willing-hearted, a winning of their hearts, a melting of their hearts, and a willing, worship-filled adventure through life with Jesus, filled with wonder. And I believe that Christmas and Thanksgiving is sort of God's exclamation points on the seasons of our lives. It's a time that he wants us to focus upward deliberately and cherish him and remember him. And Jesus said so often, remember me, this do in remembrance of me. And so again, this psalm that's before us is truly a mountaintop of praise and celebration. And it's kind of David looking back on his whole life and celebrating all that God has done. And we know that Jesus is spoken of in these psalms. And so every time we're celebrating the wonder of God, we're celebrating the wonder of Jesus. So let's first of all talk about what is wonder. Why did I use this word today? Well, wonder is God's antidote for melancholy. It's God's antidote for despair or depression or discouragement. You know, we've been on a long journey through the Psalms. Many of the Psalms have taught us to mourn or lament. We've read a lot of complaints of the followers of God. Some of the Psalms have taught us to celebrate. Some have taught us to pray, to agonize, to sorrow, to grieve. Some teach us, though, to wonder. And that's what this psalm teaches us to do. It teaches us to look at God and be amazed. So look at the title of the psalm, David's Psalm of Praise, sort of a summary of his whole life and the blessing of God. And I want you to see the opening of the psalm and David's definitive declarations of his life direction and his life theme. I will, I will, I will, I will. 4 times. I will, I choose. Everybody has a reason to complain. Everybody can find reasons to gripe and murmur, but it takes a will. It takes intentionality for us to say, I will. I will not gripe. I will not murmur. I will not turn inward. I will turn upward. I will extol thee, my God. That's what it means, to turn upward, to look up, eyes wide, jaw dropped with wonder. I will bless thy name forever and ever. You know, this week you can get discouraged or depressed about what you don't have or who you don't have or how you can't celebrate, or in whatever ways you could go negative, or you can look up and you can choose in whatever state you're in to bless his name. And David says, not only will I bless your name, I'll bless it forever and ever. This is the theme of my life. This is the devotion of my entire being. But then every day, look at verse 2, every day will I bless thee, and I will praise thy name forever and ever. So it's a daily reality now, and it's an eternal reality to come. And then it's like he throws up his arms, and it's like he's wrapping his arms around the neck of God to hug him. Great is the Lord, and greatly to be praised. And his greatness is unsearchable. It's unthinkable. It's unimaginable. It's infinite. It's beyond our comprehension. David is absolutely enraptured in wonder right now. What is wonder? It's a feeling of surprise mingled with admiration, caused by something beautiful or unexpected or unfamiliar or inexplicable. To wonder is to feel admiration, amazement, and to marvel. Think about these verses. Psalm 40 and verse 5. Many, O Lord, my God, are thy wonderful works which thou hast done, and thy thoughts which are to usward. They cannot be reckoned up in order unto thee. If I would declare and speak of them, they are more than can be numbered. God, you've been better to me than I could speak of. I mean, it's innumerable. It's infinite. The list is unending. Psalm 72:18. Blessed be the Lord God, the God of Israel, who only doeth wondrous things. He is a wonderful God. He does wonderful works. He leads us in wonderful ways. Isaiah 25:1. O Lord, thou art my God. I will extol thee. I will praise thy name, for thou hast done wonderful things. Thy counsels of old are faithfulness and truth. Wonder. You know what you should do this Thanksgiving and Christmas season? You should carve out some time to wonder. I wrote a book a few years ago called Stop Trying. It was published by Moody Publishers. And in the book, I shared a story that I want to share with you right now. In fact, I'm going to read it straight from the book. It's about fireflies. And as I was a kid growing up, my grandparents lived in the Baltimore, Maryland area, Severna Park. That's where I was born in Baltimore. And I remember spending a lot of time at my grandmother's house, and in the summer season, going out in the yard and catching fireflies. And the wonder as a child of looking at those fireflies lighting up the night. And then I grew up, time flew and life took over, and I kind of forgot about fireflies. And then God relocated us from the high desert of Southern California where there were no fireflies. Like, I hadn't seen a firefly. Goodness, I can't even remember. Probably 25 or 30 years since I had seen a firefly. And here's what I wrote in the book. After more than 20 years in the desert, I had forgotten fireflies. And then, quite unexpectedly, they returned to my life. Shortly after our relocation to New England, I stood on my back deck one summer night when a faint flicker carried me back decades. I recognize that flicker. I get emotional reading this story because it's so silly. I don't know why I'm emotional except for the fact that God has been faithful to me through all 55 years of my life. And he has this way of like sneaking up behind me and tapping me on the shoulder with some bit of surprise or delight that's going to catch me, that's going to take my breath away. And he's done it so many times in the last 12 years that it would take me the rest of the morning to just tell you all the little ways God has tapped me on the shoulder with something that says, I'm still here. I've always been here. I've been walking with you the whole time. And this was one of those times. I got to tell you another time. You can remind me later a story about angel wings and a story about blue crabs. And all of this was happening at a time where I felt so lost in life. We had just relocated 3,000 miles from California to Connecticut, lived in California for nearly 30 years. And suddenly I'm in a new place and meeting new people and in a new church, and everything's new. And God just kept tapping me and saying, I'm here. And this is one of the times he did it. I'm standing on this back deck looking out at the woods behind my house. And I recognize that flicker. I'm going to pick up the story here. I quickly turned off the nearby lights and stood very still and stared into the darkness. I called out to my wife, Dana, come here and look. Another flicker and another. As my eyes adjusted, I felt 10 years old again. How many childhood nights had I captured fireflies, put them in a jar, and drifted off to sleep with their faint flickers in my bedroom? That night came alive, decades later, as my wife and I stood on the back deck and delighted over God's subtle light show. But a strange thing happens. Every summer, the rush of life can make the flickers faint and unnoticed. Unadjusted, distracted eyes miss the fireflies. To see the subtle, extravagant miniature light show, I must intentionally stop and stare. I have to want to see it. The wonderful works of God are so similar. We need our eyes to adjust. We need to pause and focus. And the longer we look at God's story and the message of his word, the message of the gospel, the beauty of Jesus, the brighter Jesus' reality grows. And the more amazed we become with who he is and what he has done for us. So we've just begun our journey through this psalm. David is standing wide-eyed, jaw dropped. He's letting his eyes adjust. He's staring into the beauty of God's goodness. And I encourage you to do the same. He is faithful. He loves you. He is good to you. And so stand in wonder. Let your eyes adjust and thank him. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow, Thanksgiving Day. And until then, I'm praying for you.